What's good, everybody? There's a whole ass party in my house, but we just witnessed some absolute cinema, man. It's always these cards that you don't give a fuck about. It's always the fucking Billy Quarantillo co-main event. You know, first fight on the night, it's a women's bantamweight fight, ends up being low-key fight of the night. That was a crazy fight. I don't even remember the girls' names. You know, right now it is 4:43 in the morning. I went, I believe, 8 or 9 for 12 on picks. Shout out Oral Goat fan, friend of the channel. They went 12 for 12, absolute insane behavior. Like, you got to start putting money on the game, my brother. All right. But let's get into it for what's next for each of these fighters, the fighters we care about. All right. Starting off with the winner. Bloody Quillen Salkilld, mate. Oh my God. This guy just put on one of the most impressive performances against one of the most difficult stylistic matchups. You think Quillen Salkilld, really good striker, keeps it on the feet, whatever. How is he going to do with the grappling? You know, Yanala Schmooth was able to get a couple was able to get a couple takedowns on him. He was able to use the threat of the takedown to set up the overhands, and he didn't look as good in the Yanala Schmooth fight as he did in this Gamrot fight. It just wrapped up. Quillen by submission. I believe it was the first round, if I'm not wrong. I'm already forgetting what happened. But it was a crazy performance. He got caught. You know, at the beginning, I was a little bit hesitant. You know, Quillen got on the back of Gamrot, and I was thinking, if Gamrot reverses this position, this could be really bad for Salkilld. I think Salkilld should disengage, especially since he hurt Gamrot early with a left hook. I think it was a check left hook that dropped him, and already caused like visible damage. I think he started bleeding already from his brow, from his forehead. But yeah, man, I mean, it almost happened. Gamrot dropped on the legs of Salkilld, was pretty deep, it looked like, on a knee bar that then transitioned to a heel hook. But yeah, man, Salkilld turned the right way, he tucked his knee, and he ended up clearing the knee line. I was shitting bricks. I was like, oh fuck, there goes my pick. I thought it was over, honestly. Like, you know, Salkild's a better man than me. Obviously, he's the professional fighter, because I would have tapped to that shit already. I think what's next for Quillen Salkilld after that impressive performance, second man to finish Gamrot inside the UFC. First man was Charles Oliveira, right? That's elite company you're with, bro. You're in Charles Oliveira conversations. I think he should go against the loser of Arman Tsarukyan and Mauricio Rufy, all right? These guys are going to be fighting. I think, I believe in the AI rankings, he's ranked second. In the media, maybe he's ranked number 1. But Arman Tsarukyan is a pretty high-ranked contender. He's going to be taking on Rufy. Should have been the Oliveira rematch. And I think Rufy is 11th or 7th, somewhere around there. And I believe the loser would be a perfect, like, maybe introduction for Salkilld into the top 5, top 6 matchup. And yeah, man, stylistically, I think both of these fights are super entertaining, because even if Gamrot did beat Tsarukyan back in the day, I believe Tsarukyan is still a better grappler and a better well-rounded fighter than Mateusz Gamrot. You know, Mateusz just has a thing where he can make it close with guys that he's not supposed to make it close with, right? Either he's supposed to dominate guys like Dan Hooker and he ends up losing, or he's supposed to lose to guys like Arman and he ends up winning. He's one of those weird fighters. I mean, shout out to Poland, by the way. But yeah, man, Salkilld against Arman would be super fun. I'd love to see if the Salkilld, scrambles can hold up. If, he gets put in those bad positions like the mount, like the half guard. We know Arman has some really nasty ground and pound, so I'd love to see that fight. I'd also like to see Mauricio Rufy's would be a banger fight on the feet. I'm pretty sure Salkilld would be forced to mix it up, because you don't want to stay on the feet with a guy that has the power and just the mix-ups of Mauricio Rufy. So yeah, man, Salkilld versus the loser of Arman and Rufy. I think that's a perfect matchup. On to Gamrot. What do we do, my brother? We got to feed him to another killer. It is what it is, man. You're one of these guys that is not a big fan favorite. You know, I love Mateusz Gamrot. I love all these guys. I love all these Polish fighters. You know, Jan Blachowicz. I love Jana Jędrzejczyk. Like, I love all these guys. But you have to feed them to the young prospects, because these aren't big stars. There's no point for you conserving them around in the top 5, in the top 10 rankings. They're there to build the name of the next generation. It is what it is, you know? And I don't think Gamrot would lose to Nolan, per se. I don't know what I think about this matchup, but I know that it's a matchup Nolan deserves. He's coming off a couple wins. He needs to step up in competition, and he's kind of in the position Salkilld was in before he fought Mateusz Gamrot. So I think give Gamrot to Nolan, a young killer, help him move up the division. It's just what happens with these unks. All right. Now on to the co-main event of the evening. Now, I was disappointed when this co-main event released, but that fight, low-key, Billy Quarantillo, I got my pick wrong. I picked Billy to win by decision. I thought he was going to shoot more takedowns. I thought he was going to get on the legs of Ferreira a lot more, since Ferreira loves switching stances. He's always squared up. But no, man, he just decided to go in there and have the prime Nick Diaz, Homer Simpson, fucking, I don't know, Yuri Prohaska, catch all the shots on my chin and hope for the best matchup. All right, that was his game plan coming in, and it didn't work out for him. He got rocked almost every minute of every round he was in, right? He even got taken down himself. I'm like, all right, bro, like you're just making me look bad, right? But yeah, man, I think Ferreira versus retiring and being in the UFC game, you know? Motherfuckers, they don't even make a call out anymore. They just look at you like this and ask to be in the UFC game. Like, that's the point we're at with this dude. I think he's like 36 or 37. Lay the gloves down, right? You've had a good career. Lay the gloves down. Get your UFC game money. You know, get your 20 grand a year, however much they pay you guys. And yeah, man, put Ferreira in the game. That's his next matchup, all right? And let the man retire. Go to Brazil. Eat some nice, what do they eat in Brazil? They eat picanha, right? Eat some nice picanha steaks, all right? On to the next matchup. Miller, little baby Ty Miller. Little baby CP, bro. We love baby C. Oh, my God. We love baby CP, you know. Ty Miller's in there. He looks like one of these guys that is unathletic, kind of built weird torso, super long limbs, long arms, and is these guys that you see them and you're like, okay, regular dude, and just has crazy power for no reason. He looks like 30 people I went to middle school with. Like, he has such a familiar baby face. Again, shout out again to Oral Goat fan for telling me that. Like, this guy genuinely has a baby face. And he just packs a crazy punch. He literally reminds me of Carlos Prates if Carlos had never taken a Muay Thai class and was just purely a boxer. So Ty Miller, he's probably like top 50 best lightweights or welterweights right now. Fuck it, bro. Sacrifice Santiago Ponzinibbio. You know, he's Argentinian right now. The stock is pretty low. Y'all just lost the World Cup to the Spanish. My fault. You know, my bad. It is what it is. You take it. You win some, you lose some, right? You just lost the World Cup to the Spanish. Santiago lost his last fight. I think he got KO'd. What's another loss, bro? What's another name? Feed him to Ty Miller. He'll get him out of there in the first round. And just keep building Ty Miller up. I think this guy can go pretty far in the welterweight division. I'd be very curious to see how he fares against someone who has the same amount of power as him, because I haven't seen the best from him defensively. But this guy's power is actually crazy. Every shot he landed looked hard and heavy. And even though he got the TKO in the third round, I was surprised, and so was he, and so was everyone, I think, in the arena, that his opponent got up from the stool in the second round. Like, that was actually a big, big show of heart. All right? So, Ty Miller versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. I'm sorry, my brother, but I'm not actually sorry. All right? On to the next matchup. Kazakhstan does it, bro. Diyar Nurgoze, however you pronounce it. I'm so happy I got my pick wrong. You know, the things I pointed out that were bad about this guy, they're still bad. All right? Nothing has changed. This guy still has no head movement. He doesn't have crazy power. You know, it was more of a volume finish. He did not land a really accurate and good uppercut, right, to initiate the finishing sequence. But he didn't really show out. And I love my Kazakh fighters, but I need to see some more. I need to see improvements. I need to see, you know, this guy's pretty young, and you know, he's not the fattest light heavyweight, although, you know, he's kind of rocking that Jamal Hill build before Jamal Hill got that big-ass belly. I think putting him against Zhengming Yang, does this not scream a Kazakhstan Fight Night main event or a China Fight Night main event or co-main? Like, this is one of those fights you can just see. For you Americans, you're watching that shit at 3 in the morning. I would be enjoying this, you know, at a crisp 7 p.m. in the afternoon, or whenever the China cards are for me. It would just be cinema. I'd love to have this as a co-main, you know. Honestly, it should be a co-main, because neither of these guys are crazy stars, maybe in their home country, you know. But this is a good matchup. They're both kind of blockheads. Zhang Mingyang actually a blockhead. Look at the shape of that man. He looks like he's come straight out of Minecraft. But I think they have very similar fighting styles. I'd love to see how their power matches up. And this would be one of those fights where you look at the odds and it's like, will this fight go the distance? Minus 900 is no. Like, no way this fight's going the distance, right? So it's a good co-main, maybe a good main event that guarantees some action, you know? It's one of those where you tell your friends, come watch this fight night. You don't know anybody, but these guys are fighting. It's going to be a finish for sure. And then it ends up being a 25-minute blob fest like Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker, right? But yeah, man, let's not put that out in the universe. On to the next matchup. Dober. Your time is... No, actually, your time might not have come. If we think about it, Sosa is good. is really good. I picked him to win earlier than he did, but Sosa has such good combinations. No wonder this guy knocked out Mauricio Rufy in the day. Like, his body, head, his cardio, 3 rounds in the UFC. We've seen it twice now. He's looked so good over the 3 rounds. He's so fit. Like, you know, pause, I guess. I don't know if that's pause coming from me, but this guy's built super well for the division. You know, he's not one of those guys that's coming in flabby. You can tell he stays pretty lean year round. He has crazy power, and just my favorite thing about him, I think my favorite thing about UFC fighters in general, MMA fighters, is when they have nice combinations. Long, extended combinations. That's how you get my heart, man. You know, you want to propose to me, you show me a good 7-punch combination, and you involve the body and the head. You know, maybe you throw in a cheeky left hook to the liver, and you throw in, you know, like a leg kick. Like, include a leg kick as the 4th punch in the or the 4th strike in the combination. I'm already in love, bro. I'm falling head over heels for you. So Sosa versus Dober, it's an interesting matchup. You know, Dober does have the reputation of being somewhat of a racially motivated UFC fighter, where he loses to everyone that's, you know, very similar in melanin proportion deficiency to him, and then ends up beating all the black people in the UFC. It'd be interesting to see how Dober and Sosa fight, because everything points to Sosa winning, right? Sosa has a better chin than Dober. He has more power. He has better combinations. The only thing Dober has is more experience on Sosa, and the fact that he always wins against black people, bro. At this point, like, at some point, these things become real. You know, like, right now it's not real, but at some point they do. All right. So give me Sosa versus Dober. Put this on like maybe the opening fight of some fight night, opening or headlining fight of the prelims, something like that. All right. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think about these matchups? What do you guys think about the card? This shit was cinema. Again, shout out Oral Goat fan. 3rd time I mentioned you in this video, but your picks were crazy, bro. Shout out to you. All right, ciao, ciao.